When most people think of the Philippines, they imagine tropical beaches, crystal clear waters, and thousands of paradise islands, and they're not wrong. But beneath this picture-perfect landscape lies one of the most extraordinary countries on Earth, a nation where one of the deepest places in the ocean sits just offshore, where entire islands were built by volcanoes, where rivers can reverse their direction, where mountains were carved into giant staircases by human hands centuries ago, and where an underground river disappears beneath a mountain before flowing directly into the sea. The Philippines isn't just beautiful. It's one of the most geologically active and geographically fascinating places on the planet. Today, we'll explore 15 incredible geography facts that reveal a side of the Philippines few people have ever seen. Welcome to Planet Earth Explorer. Let's begin. Most of the Philippine Islands sit above mountains, but just beyond their eastern coastline lies a place so deep that it challenges the limits of human exploration. Hidden beneath the Pacific Ocean is the Philippine Trench. At its deepest point, known as the Emden Deep, the seafloor plunges to more than 10,500 meters below sea level. To understand just how extreme that is, imagine placing Mount Everest upside down inside the trench. Its summit would still remain nearly 2 kilometers below the ocean's surface. Down there, sunlight never reaches. Temperatures hover just above freezing. The pressure is so immense that it exceeds 1,000 times the atmospheric pressure we experience every day. Only a handful of scientific expeditions have ever visited this mysterious abyss. Yet despite these unimaginable conditions, life still exists. Tiny crustaceans, strange fish, and microorganisms have adapted to survive in one of the harshest environments on Earth. The Philippine Trench is a reminder that even in the 21st century, our own planet still contains places as mysterious as outer space. Sometimes, the greatest unknown isn't above us. It's hidden beneath the sea. When people think about national territory, they usually imagine land, mountains, forests, cities. But in 2012, the Philippines gained something entirely different, an enormous piece of the ocean floor. Known as the Philippine Rise, this underwater plateau covers more than 130,000 square kilometers. That's larger than many entire countries. Although invisible from the surface, this submerged landscape is one of the most biologically important regions in the Western Pacific. Scientists have discovered thriving coral ecosystems, rich fishing grounds, and habitats where countless marine species reproduce. Some researchers also believe the seafloor may contain valuable mineral deposits formed over millions of years. Yet much of this underwater frontier remains unexplored. Every expedition continues to reveal species never before documented by science. It's astonishing to think that one of the Philippines' greatest natural treasures isn't found on land at all. It's hidden beneath thousands of meters of water, waiting to be understood. Imagine diving into an ocean so full of life that almost every direction reveals something new. Welcome to the Verde Island Passage. Located between the islands of Luzon and Mindoro, this narrow stretch of water has earned an extraordinary title. Many marine biologists call it the center of marine biodiversity. Nowhere else on Earth has such an incredible concentration of marine species been recorded within such a small area. More than 1,700 species of fish and countless varieties of coral share these waters. Sea turtles glide through vibrant coral gardens. Schools of colorful fish move like living clouds. Tiny organisms drift with powerful currents, supporting one of the richest ecosystems on the planet. The reason lies in geography. Ocean currents from different directions meet here, bringing nutrients that fuel an explosion of marine life. The result is an underwater world that rivals the Amazon rainforest in biological richness. It's one of the greatest natural treasures on Earth. And surprisingly, many people have never even heard its name. Hidden within the tropical forests of Mindanao lies a river that almost doesn't look real. The Hinatuan Enchanted River is famous for its brilliant turquoise water. From above, it appears almost luminous, as if someone poured liquid sapphire into the jungle. At first glance, it looks like an ordinary spring, but appearances are deceiving. The river actually emerges from an underground cave system hidden beneath layers of limestone. Divers have explored parts of these flooded passages, yet many sections remain unexplored. No one knows exactly how far the underground network extends. The crystal clear water changes subtly with the tides, sometimes becoming slightly salty as seawater pushes inland through hidden channels. Local legends describe the river as magical. While science offers geological explanations, standing beside the enchanted river still feels surreal. Some places don't need myths to feel mysterious. Nature has already done all the work. Look closely at a geological map of Southeast Asia, and you'll notice something unusual. Palawan is different. Unlike most of the Philippine Islands, which were created by volcanic activity, Palawan has a completely different origin. Millions of years ago, it was actually part of the Eurasian continental margin. Over vast stretches of geological time, tectonic forces slowly separated this fragment of continental crust before carrying it toward the Philippine archipelago. In other words, Palawan is a traveler, a giant piece of another continent that drifted into its current position. This unique history explains why the island looks so different. Towering limestone cliffs rise dramatically above emerald lagoons. Ancient caves cut deep into the landscape. Underground rivers wind beneath dense tropical forests. Some of the oldest rock formations in the Philippines are found here. It's one of the few places on Earth where you can literally walk across a fragment of another continent. Palawan isn't just another island. It's a geological journey frozen in time. Imagine living on an island so small you could drive across it in less than an hour. Now imagine that same island being home to more volcanoes than most countries. Welcome to Camiguin. Located in the Bohol Sea, Camiguin measures only about 240 square kilometers. Yet this tiny island contains 4 major volcanoes and several volcanic domes, earning it the nickname, the Island Born of Fire. Its most famous volcano, Mount Hibak, dramatically reminded the world of its power in 1951. The eruption buried entire villages beneath ash and lava, forcing thousands of people to flee. Today, lush forests cover the volcanic slopes, hiding scars left by past eruptions. Hot springs bubble from underground. Steam escapes through cracks in the earth. Waterfalls tumble down ancient lava flows. Life has returned, but the island never lets you forget what's happening beneath your feet. Camiguin is one of the clearest examples of how destruction and beauty can exist side by side. It's a paradise built by volcanoes. And those volcanoes are still very much alive. We all learn the same thing in school. Rivers flow downhill toward the sea. But in the Philippines, one river occasionally ignores that rule. The Pasig River connects Laguna de Bay, the country's largest freshwater lake, with Manila Bay. Most of the time, water flows toward the ocean. However, during exceptionally high tides or powerful storm surges, the sea pushes back. The incoming saltwater becomes strong enough to reverse the river's current. For a short time, the river actually flows inland. This remarkable phenomenon is caused by the unique geography of Metro Manila, where the lake, the river, and the bay exist in a delicate balance. Engineers have even built massive hydraulic structures to help regulate these changing water levels and reduce saltwater intrusion. Standing along the river during one of these reversals is a strange experience. The current quietly changes direction, as if nature suddenly decided to rewrite one of its oldest rules. It's a reminder that geography doesn't always follow our expectations. Sometimes, even rivers change their minds. Beneath the forests, cities, and mountains of the Philippines lies an invisible force that never truly rests. Stretching for more than 1,200 kilometers, the Philippine Fault cuts across the country from northern Luzon all the way to Mindanao. It's one of the longest active fault systems in Southeast Asia. Unlike a simple crack in the ground, this fault constantly moves as massive tectonic plates slowly slide past one another. Most of the movement happens so gradually that people never notice it, but every so often, enormous amounts of pressure are suddenly released. The result is an earthquake powerful enough to reshape entire landscapes within seconds. Mountains shift, roads fracture, rivers can even change course. Entire communities have been rebuilt after major earthquakes triggered by this fault. Although invisible from above, the Philippine Fault quietly influences the country's geography every single day. The Philippines isn't simply built on islands. It's built on moving pieces of the Earth's crust. High in the mountains of northern Luzon lies one of humanity's greatest engineering achievements, the Banaue Rice Terraces. At first glance, they almost appear artificial. Perfect green staircases climbing endlessly toward the clouds. But these terraces weren't created by modern machines. They were carved by hand. More than 2,000 years ago, the Ifugao people transformed steep mountainsides into fertile farmland using little more than stone tools, determination, and generations of knowledge. Every terrace was carefully designed to capture mountain water and distribute it through an intricate irrigation system that still functions today, without pumps, without electricity, simply using gravity. The scale is astonishing. Thousands of terraces wrap around entire mountains, creating one of the most recognizable landscapes in Asia. What makes them even more impressive is that they remain productive after centuries of continuous use. These aren't ancient ruins, they're living landscapes. Proof that humans and nature can work together to create something truly extraordinary. If there is one country that truly understands the power of tropical storms, it's the Philippines. Every year, around 20 tropical cyclones enter the region. Many grow into powerful typhoons before reaching land. The reason is geography. The Western Pacific Ocean is the most active tropical cyclone basin on Earth. Warm ocean water provides enormous amounts of energy, allowing storms to grow stronger as they move westward. Unfortunately, the Philippine archipelago lies directly in their path. Entire coastlines have been reshaped by repeated storms. Mountains trigger intense rainfall, causing landslides and flash floods. Rivers overflow, forests recover, communities rebuild, again and again. Despite facing some of the most destructive weather on Earth, the Filipino people have developed remarkable resilience. Homes are rebuilt, cities recover, life continues. The Philippines isn't simply located on the path of typhoons. It has learned how to survive one of nature's most relentless forces. Most rivers follow a predictable journey. They flow across valleys, through forests, and eventually reach the sea. But on the island of Palawan, one river chooses a completely different path. The Puerto Princesa Underground River begins like any other tropical river. Then, without warning, it disappears beneath a towering limestone mountain. For more than 8 kilometers, the river winds through a vast underground cave system before finally emptying into the South China Sea. Visitors can explore part of this hidden world by boat, gliding silently beneath cathedral-sized chambers where enormous stalactites hang from the ceiling like ancient chandeliers. The only sounds are dripping water and the distant echoes of bats nesting high above. Scientists believe the cave system has been carved over millions of years as slightly acidic rainwater slowly dissolved the surrounding limestone. The result is one of the most spectacular underground landscapes on Earth. Recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, the Puerto Princesa Underground River reminds us that some of the planet's greatest wonders aren't visible from the surface. Sometimes, the most extraordinary journeys happen beneath our feet. Nature rarely creates something truly unique, but Taal Volcano is one of those rare exceptions. At first glance, it looks like an ordinary volcanic island rising from the middle of a peaceful lake. Look closer, however, and the geography becomes almost unbelievable. The volcano sits on Volcano Island. Volcano Island lies inside Tayal Lake, and that entire lake is located on the much larger island of Luzon. It's a landscape so unusual that it's often described as nature's version of a Russian nesting doll. Layers within layers, land inside water, water inside land. Despite its relatively modest height, Tayal is one of the most active volcanoes in the Philippines. Throughout history, its eruptions have repeatedly transformed the surrounding landscape. Ash clouds have darkened the skies. Entire villages have been evacuated. The shoreline of the lake has changed more than once. Even today, scientists continuously monitor the volcano for signs of renewed activity. Tayal is beautiful, but beneath its calm appearance lies one of the most unpredictable forces in the country. Imagine standing before thousands of perfectly rounded hills stretching to every horizon. At first, they appear almost artificial, as though someone carefully arranged them across the landscape. This is the Chocolate Hills of Bohol. More than 1,700 nearly identical limestone hills rise from the countryside, creating one of the most recognizable landscapes in Southeast Asia. For centuries, local legends tried to explain their origin. Some spoke of giants. Others told stories of mythical battles. Science tells a different story. These hills were once part of an ancient coral reef beneath a shallow tropical sea. Over millions of years, the land slowly rose, while rain gradually dissolved the surrounding limestone. The harder rock remained, leaving behind thousands of nearly symmetrical hills. During the rainy season, they appear bright green. But when the dry season arrives, the grass turns brown. Suddenly, the entire landscape resembles thousands of giant chocolate truffles. It's one of the few places on Earth where geology creates something that almost seems impossible. Towering nearly 3,000 meters above sea level, Mount Apo dominates the southern Philippines. It is the highest mountain in the country. But reaching its summit is far more than simply climbing a volcano. The journey begins in dense tropical rainforest, alive with birds, insects, and towering trees. As hikers continue upward, the landscape begins to transform. Cloud forests replace jungle. The air becomes cooler. Moss blankets ancient trees. Higher still, volcanic rocks emerge beneath the mist. Steam quietly escapes from geothermal vents, reminding visitors that Mount Apo may be dormant, but it is far from lifeless. Finally, above the clouds, the summit reveals breathtaking views across Mindanao. On clear days, rivers sparkle far below while distant mountains fade into the horizon. Mount Apo is more than the roof of the Philippines. It is a journey through multiple ecosystems compressed into a single mountain. Every step upward feels like traveling into a different world. Looking at a map of the Philippines, one thing immediately stands out. There are islands everywhere, more than 7,600 of them. Together, they create a coastline stretching over 36,000 kilometers, longer than the Earth's equator, longer than the coastline of many entire continents. Every curve tells a different story. Hidden lagoons surrounded by limestone cliffs, mangrove forests protecting coastal villages, white sand beaches untouched by development, bustling fishing ports filled with colorful boats, and tiny islands so remote that only a handful of people have ever set foot on them. This endless coastline is one of the reasons the Philippines possesses such extraordinary marine biodiversity. The constant interaction between land and sea has shaped both nature and culture for thousands of years. For the people who live here, the ocean isn't simply a boundary, it's a highway, a source of food, a way of life. The Philippines isn't defined by its land alone, it's defined by the sea that connects every island together. From one of the deepest places on Earth, to rivers flowing beneath mountains, from volcanoes surrounded by lakes, to islands shaped by ancient coral reefs. The Philippines is far more than a tropical paradise. It's one of the most geologically active, biologically diverse, and geographically extraordinary nations on our planet. Every island tells a different story. Every mountain reveals millions of years of Earth's history. Every coastline hides another incredible discovery waiting to be explored. And perhaps that's what makes the Philippines so unforgettable. No matter how much you learn, there's always another mystery beyond the horizon. So, which of these incredible facts surprised you the most? Tell us in the comments below. If you enjoyed this journey, don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us for our next adventure here on Planet Earth Explorer. Until next time, keep exploring.